And we are back in Studio K. Cue Beck. Awesome. Okay, well, we're sitting here with the SoL project. Solomon Falls is the leader of this group. Solomon, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
You feel great?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, first things first, I would like you to introduce yourself and your bandmates and what everyone plays in the group, please.
Awesome. Dude, happy to. So I'm Solomon Falls, and I play the guitar, and I've written the songs we have so far, and I sing them with some harmonies from Noah. And this is Noah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Noah Bauer, El Panasueco. I'm so happy to be here. I'm playing drums for the SoL project. It's absolutely wonderful.
Cool.
And we got Beck over here giving us some nice melodies. How's it going, Beck?
It's going good, so thank you for asking. I play the bass.
The 6-string bass.
The 6-string bass.
It's a whole different animal. Cool. All right. Well, Solomon, this is the second time you've played with a live group with this project, correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And how has it felt playing with these guys?
So wonderful. I feel so blessed to have these guys support, not only instrumentally, but they're good friends of mine too. And the fact that they also enjoy this music, that means a lot to me, has been so encouraging and makes it a bunch easier to play it.
Right.
In every way.
Yeah. Well, so you're in other groups where you play with other people and you collaborate, but this project has been kind of like a solitary thing for you, right? So how was it kind of trying to translate like those instrumental parts and your ideas to other people?
Yeah, great question. I think one of the reasons I didn't have a band for a while is that I'm not musically trained in a technical sense, and so I don't really know how to do that.
Okay.
Other than like I get to sit down with Beck and I'm like showing Beck the chord and we're listening together, and so I feel humble in that regard and grateful that Beck and Noah are willing to take the step to learn things that I can't write down or talk about. Well,
yeah. So
yeah.
How do you describe those parts to them, and how do you get them to imitate what you're thinking of?
Yeah. Let's see. We just played through them a bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them have recordings that are on Spotify or in my Google Drive, and I chose not to show these guys those recordings because I think they both have talents and skills that are more free to be developed if they're not confined by a preconception of what it should sound like. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And music is always, I want music to be about play for me, and so like allowing them to have fun and play in the way that is fulfilling to them, I think probably generates better sound than if I'm like, hey, I need it to be like this.
Totally. Yeah. They're bringing themselves to the music in a way. Noah,
Totally.
do you want to speak on the process of learning this music?
Yeah, SoL has been one of the most generous collaborators I have ever worked with. Just like the amount of positivity and love in the spaces that he's been creating. It's honestly, it's such a privilege, and like I definitely like I got sort of like put on to like your music by like the larger like Flavor World scene, Room 3, and it's crazy to honestly like be playing with people that like I genuinely like have a lot of respect for musically. So I'm just I feel so happy to be here for real, and SoL's an excellent collaborator. These songs are fantastic. I really believe in them.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk
awesome.
about. Yeah, that is awesome. I'm loving this, especially with the bass, man. This is Beck.
So
we need to pay you,
perfect.
Beck. If you come here every time, I would be so happy to do this. Yeah. Right. All right. Well, let's talk about the songs that you played today. So we started with Maybe You Don't Miss Me.
Yes.
Is that right?
Great job.
Yes. Tell me about that song. What went into that song?
Yeah, Maybe You Don't Miss Me was super nice. I feel that some music has always been like a comforting, a tool for comfort or consolation for me in many regards. And my partner was in Chicago, and I missed them, and felt like I wanted to hang out. And I wasn't too like bummed about it. I like knew they'd come back, and I'd get to hang out.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to it. And so it has like the chords and stuff are really positive, you know. Like maybe I'm worried, but like everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to like be free to be back. It's gonna be awesome.
Totally.
And I'm probably just human and like worrying about this stuff that like every human has ever worried about ever.
I think your music is very relatable, and I think you make a point to make it relatable too, which is cool. After that, you had Never Know,
Yes.
right? You want to talk about that one?
Oh, I like that song a
Yeah.
lot. I like that song.
Yeah,
a
okay, so
bunch.
there's like some mixed meter stuff going on. Before we get into like the meaning behind it, can you tell me
Yeah.
about that?
Yes. So I'm like super cursed by only playing in 4/4 ever. And I wish that I could like play something else. And so I did try to do that with Never Know and ended up having this riff that has these accents that aren't on 4, but the entire bar is a multiple of 4.
Okay.
And so it's like, I feel like Noah could probably explain it better than me, honestly, so I'm going to pass it to Noah.
Yeah, I would say you're honestly running into a sort of guess and check type of mentality.
Yeah, sure.
You're like, we could count this out and we could be like super, regimented and specific about it, but like, especially with the amount of creative freedom that SoL has given us, like, it was just really fun to play off the two of them. And I feel like every time we play that song, it's a little bit different because of that. But as a jazz musician, I think that's the best.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah, if you were looking to break out of 4/4, I think you chose the best two guys to break you out of 4/4.
That's true.
Yeah. They're crazy. Yeah. Totally.
That's
Awesome. Well, so do you want to talk about the lyrics in that one?
Yeah. So let's see. I think that it's so easy to take my life for granted. It's like one of the easiest things I do every day. I think, I'll wake up tomorrow. And usually, so far, I have.
Well, 100% success rate, I think.
100% success rate so far.
Yeah.
And like, but I think that's like something like that takes away from my life. And like, so I try to be mindful of the fact that I might not wake up tomorrow. And if I don't tell this person something nice today, or I don't do this thing or that thing or whatever, I might never get to do it. And there are experiences in my life where that feels like it has occurred, and like being prepared for those experiences by living authentically in my daily life definitely seems important to me.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love it. Awesome. Okay, cool. So the last song you did was Beautiful People. It's a beautiful, beautiful song.
Thanks.
I really like that idea of beautiful people can sometimes be messy too.
Yeah.
Was there a certain experience that inspired that tune, or where's it come
I think
from?
like yes, certain experience of I think a bunch of experiences, honestly. Not like a certain. I wish I had like a story to tell.
Yeah.
I don't have a specific story to tell.
Sure.
Other than like I have a lot of conversations with my friends, and I have a lot of great thoughts about who I want to be and what I want to do and how I want to behave and how I want to relate to the world. And they're so beautiful, and it's so easy to think that something isn't beautiful if it isn't ideal. And what a bummer that would be, you know?
That's the quote of the day, I think. That's awesome.
And so like the Beautiful People song is just like a reminder to me that, and anyone who wants to hear it this way too, of like that like messy is beautiful, clean is beautiful. There's a bunch of beautiful stuff, and like you don't really need to put so much pressure on yourself to be something ideal in order to be beautiful and have a good time, and like probably have a better time if you don't do that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the paradox of it.
Totally. Yeah, I think that interesting things are beautiful, and interesting things usually aren't like perfect.
Ooh.
Like cut out perfectly,
Dude, totally.
Yeah. There's got to be
Yeah.
some struggle in there. There's got to be some kind of spice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think too, like part of the concept of like this ideal thing is like there's this lyric in the song where it's like, is it the way they dress, the pretending, And that's like this like struggle that I think everyone has of like, how do I like present today?
Mm.
Like how do I like coming into Radio K today? I'm like, I want to like look nice. I put on my black pants, like I match my guitar, like you know what I mean? And that's a wonderful thing to do, and I don't want anyone to stop doing that. But that was what I'm thinking about this performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Cool. Okay. I wanna talk about you now. I wanna talk about your history as a musician and kind of your journey. So when did you start writing music?
I started writing music when I was. I think there's kind of two answers to that.
Okay.
One is like my mom and my mom's side of the family is really musical.
Okay. Cool.
And they like to sing a lot. And so from a super young age, me and my mom would sing together.
Cool.
And I definitely wrote like little songs, like they're just singing them, you know?
Yeah.
But I didn't really like identify as a songwriter until I was like 15 or 16 and I had a guitar and I was writing things on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Cool. Well, so you play a variety of instruments. I've seen you on guitar, on drums, on bass. What did you start with?
I started with the ukulele.
Oh, wow. I feel like that's a common starting instrument.
It was great because I like tried to play the guitar and I was like, man, this sucks. This hurts
Yeah.
my fingers and I don't feel like I can accomplish this task.
Sure.
And then I went on a vacation with my cousins and my friend Zach. My cousin Zach and my friend was slaying the ukulele.
Mm.
And I was like, dang, that looks much more accessible to me.
Mm.
So I got one and it was immediately more gratifying.
Yeah.
And then I just went on from there. And I still play a nylon string guitar because it is easier.
Oh, okay.
And
How is
I
it
like
easier? I'm not a guitar player, so I don't know.
The steel strings are just really rough.
Oh, okay.
And everything about them is literally harder.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
But some people prefer it. The like steel string guitar neck is narrower, so you don't have to reach as far with your fingers, and it has like a kind of curved, slight radius to it.
Sure.
Those are like the main differences for me.
Cool. And so what drove you to hop on all these other instruments then too?
Dude, great question. I got really into recording music as
Okay.
I started college.
So was it kind of out of necessity that you started learning all these other instruments?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, oh man, I have this great song. And I don't want these MIDI drums on it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to use this like Ableton preset bass on my like MIDI keyboard. I would much rather be able to play that stuff. And it was like an easy jump to bass. And then drums were like way harder than I ever thought they'd be.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it. Yeah.
Well, you're great now. I mean.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident on the drums these days. Like I feel like I can like play I can turn on a metronome and play something without hitting too many offbeats. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Okay. So when listening through your recorded music,
Mhm.
I feel like there are often like two sides of Solomon's recorded music sonically. We have the synth heavy stuff, like the new wavy stuff that you do, which I
True.
love, and then there's like the acoustic side of Solomon. Can you tell me about those two different sonic sides of yourself?
Dude, definitely. So, that's so great. And I made a CD recently called The Magic Disc, and it comes to mind with this question immediately just because it is such a good example of that question. It's like the first portion of the disc is like all these live recordings of me in my basement playing rock music with live drums and live instruments. And then it goes into this like trancey space where sound is in this artificial environment. It doesn't sound like a basement anymore. It could be anywhere, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it goes to this more like cozy guitar vibe, you know? I think they all like reach different places of consciousness for me. Like when I'm listening to music that sounds like it's recorded in a basement, it's a much different experience than when I'm listening to like ever play Minecraft?
Yeah.
So like C418 makes all the music for Minecraft.
Okay.
And he does this amazing job of creating this tangible environment in an artificial digital space.
Whoa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you have these synth sounds, but then there's like trickling water or
Oh.
like you know,
Mhm.
and so I think I enjoy both worlds. I enjoy being in the real world, and I also enjoy this
Oh.
world of fantasy that is more
I
accessible
see.
through the synth. Yeah.
Okay. That's what you're saying. Like the more real world is that acoustic world that you play in, and then the more fantastical world is the synthy kind of
Totally.
stuff. Okay. Very
Yeah.
Cool. I love that way of thinking about it. That was a great answer to that question. Cool. Awesome. What else do I need to get to? That's so much I want to ask you.
It also just so happens too. Like I don't usually write like cathartic things with my synth. I'm like creating another world or another experience. Whereas like I'm like sitting on the couch with my acoustic guitar and something like comes out.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, well, tell me about your songwriting. I ask this question to a lot of people who come in. And Becky, are you getting tired? You don't have to keep going if you don't want to. Oh, he wants to keep going. Great. We love it.
Beck will never stop.
I was just thinking about how many people are listening to me play the bass right now. If you're listening to me playing the bass right now, I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
You're making Beck's dreams come true.
He's so good.
You really are. He is
He's
great.
so good.
This is perfect ambience. I love it. All right. So my question was, when you're songwriting, do the songs come to you or do you go to the songs? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, is it like, are you just like sitting there and it like pops in your head? You're like, oh my God, I gotta write that down. Or is it like you sit down, you're like, I need to write a song right now.
Yeah.
How does it go for you?
Oh, great question. It's definitely like short answer is it's gone both ways.
Okay.
Longer answer is I feel like the experience I've had the privilege to have on this earth is like a I think like metaphysically like have this like metaphysical like net, like consciousness net.
Yeah.
And then like ideas are like flying around and like my net of consciousness is becoming like more attuned to catch the ideas that I enjoy.
Cool.
And I just like that thought. I've
Yeah.
been thinking about it recently. And then like I really like the stream of consciousness thought, you know. But then one of the really helpful things for me about songwriting, I was just talking about the other day actually, was I'll like write a song about like maybe something that was difficult for me in a specific instance, and as I like one lyric comes to me, let's say, and I write it down and I sing it and I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel right. Like, that isn't really what I want to say. What I'd rather say is like this lyric or whatever, you know. And that process of like honing in on what like the essence of this piece is after kind of writing too much, you know, or just stream of consciousing this whole thing because I'm emotional, or like then honing in on like the essence of like what's actually important. It's super therapeutic for me. I appreciate
So
that.
you kind of do, when I asked those two options, you kind of do both with the same song in a way. Like you start
Yeah.
with the more stream of consciousness stuff and it just comes to you, but then you refine it later on. Like you sit down and you refine it.
Totally.
Is that right? Okay.
Totally.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a great way of going.
And sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
like 90 for like a lot of the songs on my Spotify were just recorded right away. I like recorded the whole instrumental and I like improvised some stuff and I had to go to bed in like an hour.
Okay.
And I was like, man, that sounds good enough to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go back to that. And then I just never do, and I'm like, okay, I'll release it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I want you mentioned your latest release, but I want to give it some time now. Magic Disc is
Magic
out
Disc.
on all platforms.
That's
right?
true. The
Okay.
Magic Disc Fragment is out on all platforms.
Oh, Fragment. There's more to come? Or
Well, the Magic Disc is a purely analog project that I only released on CD. And I only released, it's 17 tracks, and on Spotify, there's a 3-track EP that's called Magic Disc Fragment.
I see.
Yeah. And it was because, like, I'm not a, like, famous artist, and I don't have a lot of Spotify listeners. And so releasing things that are special to me into Spotify can be really discouraging. That I'm like, oh, here's this, like, really vulnerable, important piece of me, and then I put it into this void. It just vanishes.
Right.
And maybe like 2 months later, someone says, yo, I like that one song you have on Spotify. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know? But so I was looking for a way to connect with people about these ideas and like, this art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the disc was a lot more rewarding because I like made this disc, and then if anybody wanted the disc, they had to like reach out to me and give me their address and let me mail them this disc.
Right.
And then they
Okay.
had to put it in there. They had to go to a certain amount of physical effort in order to.
They gotta really want it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was more gratifying to me, and I liked to be asked for it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I liked to give something special to my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love that. Cool. All right, we're getting to time right now, so I just want to ask you 2 more questions. I have
Yes.
2 more for you.
Of course.
What is next for the SoL project? Do you have what are your immediate goals?
Well, we're incredibly grateful that we got to play Radio K at the beginning of this project's journey, because now we can use this Radio K resource footage that they so generously have made for us, and then we can send it to other places and be like, listen to this. Can we play a show there?
Yeah.
So next for the SoL project is really just like playing shows and becoming like confident and comfortable with the music that we have so far. And then hopefully we can get so comfortable and confident with it that we can record it really easily, because we can just play it live and then have mics. You know what I mean?
Right. Live recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope in the next year that we have like at least an EP and some shows under our belts.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. All right. Maybe we can check in with you in a year or so when you come
That'd
back.
be awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Last question for you is a collaborative question.
Ooh.
I want you all to jump in on this one. Okay, so
Collaborative question.
this is Dreamland, and I want you to build a dream bill for yourselves. The SoL project gets to be on it. You get 3 other bands that will
Whoa.
accompany the SoL.
Any
project.
band ever?
Any band ever, dead or alive. Each of
Whoa.
you gets one option. Gets one pick.
That's
They
such a hard
give you time
choice.
to. I think Beck is ready. Beck looks ready.
Okay, Beck, are you ready? Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, you go first.
I would bring in Thundercat.
Says the man
What
on
a
the
surprise.
6-string bass. Yeah. Oh.
I would choose Prince.
Oh yeah.
That would be great. I would. There's so many wonderful artists, but I think the one I would choose today is Haley Hendrix.
Awesome. What a bill. This is crazy.
Thundercat, Haley Hendrix, SoL, and Prince.
In that order, probably, too. That's great. And then you can all jump on the stage together at the end and do
Yeah.
one big performance.
That'd be
Beck
awesome.
and Thundercat both on 6-string bass, doing the most.
Honestly, I just feel like I could have such a great conceptual conversation with Haley Hendrix.
Yeah, true. Backstage, you can just chat it up too.
That would be crazy.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Solomon, for coming in today.
Thank you so
Noah.
much.
Thank you, Beck. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Yes. Any last words for our Radio K listeners?
Eli, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Awesome.
And thanks so much anyone who is listening.
Cool.
We appreciate it, bunches.